Right, we're looking at transformations in this video, and there are essentially four transformations you need to remember. There's reflection, there's rotation, there's translation, and there's enlargement. Alright, so I've done an example of each here. So, I'm going to go P to Q first of all. Now, this here, P's, obviously this one here, okay, and we're going to Q. Now, if you look at it, essentially all that's happened is that P's moved. Alright, now move, right, is going to be a translation. So this sort of question would be worth 1 mark. 1 mark for writing translation or translate, and the other mark for doing a vector. Now that's how far the shape has moved, and you're going to do it in a vector where the horizontal movement is on top and the vertical movement is on the bottom. Now left means it's minus or a negative number, alright. Right would be positive, obviously. Up is positive and down is negative. So we just literally got to count square. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's minus 4. Okay, and it's going to go 1, 2, 3. Minus 3. Now, you don't fall into the trap of just doing the gap between the shapes. You've got to go from one point to its equivalent point in the image. Alright, so that's why I've chosen the sort of pointy bit, the pointy vertex, right, of this trapezium. So I've gone from this point, and I've counted from there to there. It doesn't matter which point you take, you get the same. You get the same answer. If you did these 2 points, I can show it to you. Actually, we'll do that one and that one. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't matter which point you choose. Okay, it's all going to work because the shape looks exactly the same. Second one, P to R. Now, that's quite clearly turned. Now, when we turn something, we do it, it's called a rotation or rotate for 1 mark. These would be worth 3 marks. You need a centre about which it's turned, so that's going to be a coordinate centre. In this case, it's here. Get a bit of tracing paper if you're not sure and try. Right, but 0, 0, you could call it the origin if you like. And the last thing we need, so that's 2 marks so far, the last thing we need is the direction and how far, so it's going to be 90 degrees, and it's anti-clockwise. Alright, so there you go, anti-clockwise, there we go. Right, so use a bit of tracing paper, put it over the shape, trace the shape and try different centres if you're not brilliant at this, spotting this sort of thing. Alright, but there you go. Next one, P to S. Now, that's quite clearly reflected in this line. So you've got 2 marks for this, and it would be reflection. And you need a line of reflection, a mirror line. Now this point here, if I choose all the points, so if that point would be, what is it? It's 4 minus 2. If I chose that point, it would be 4, 2. Alright, if I chose that point, it's 4, 0. Right, what you should be noticing is the first number in each coordinate on that line is 4. So the first number in a coordinate is always the x coordinate. So reflection in the line, right, in line x equals 4. Now, where people can get a little bit confused here is because the y-axis is the vertical axis. But if you think about where does the line cuts the x-axis at 4, right? So a horizontal mirror line would be a y equals a number. Alright, so there you go. So 2 marks for that, and last thing I'm just going to rub out the, there we go, sorted. Right, now P to T, now it's quite clearly got bigger, hasn't it? So it's an enlargement. Again, this is a 3 mark question, enlargement. Right, now we need to say how much bigger. It's a scale factor. I can't fit scale factor on here. Now this is 2 long, the equivalent side is 2, 4, 6 long. 2 times 3 makes 6. So there you go. Now the bit that everyone forgets is the centre. Okay, so we're going to go centre. Again, this is going to be a point. Alright, and the best way to find these out is to join up equivalent sides. So equivalent sides, equivalent points I should say. So there you go. There's those 2 points here and here joined together. I'm going to join, it doesn't really matter, these 2. Okay, so we're going to go there, there, there. And where those lines, they're called rays, meet, which is there, is the centre. So the centre is a 1, 0. Okay, often is the origin, but isn't always. Remember, if it's rotated and got bigger, rotated 180 degrees and got bigger or smaller, then that's a negative enlargement. If it's got smaller, it's a fractional enlargement, right? But there you go, the basics of transformations for you there. Translation questions 2 marks, rotation questions 3 marks, reflection questions 2 marks, enlargement questions 3 marks. They're always the same, and it's the amount of information you need to give.